Today we're going to go over the settings in Command. So to access the settings, all you need to do is click on your name in the upper right, and you can choose settings. So from here, this is where you can connect all kinds of different applications, things that integrate into Command. We also have all of our command settings, contact settings, opportunity settings, pretty much everything. So we'll go ahead and take it from the top here. So we've got DocuSign. This is how you can connect your account. Mine's currently connected. I can disconnect if I'd like to, but don't want to do that. If you're not connected, it'll give the option to connect. From there, you can create an account or sign in with your already existing DocuSign account. You can also set up Facebook post scheduling, which this will post different posts that you schedule to go out to your Facebook business page. This will only go to your Facebook business page. So from the campaigns applet, you can schedule out your posts for the year from there. You can schedule out for the week. You can do whatever you'd like to. Google Calendar, this will integrate your Google Calendar. So if you have a meeting coming up with a contact in your database and their email matches, and the email of that invite matches the email of your contact, it will display inside of that contact card. Now, same thing with Gmail, and this one is pretty great. So if one of my clients emails me and the email address inside of their contact card is the same as the email address that they're emailing me from, it will show a preview of that email inside of the contact card, and it'll count as a recent contact. So I'll be able to see a preview of that message, and I'll also be able to see when they last reached out to me, or I last reached out to them as well. Facebook Ads Manager, this is where you connect your Facebook business page so that you can run ads in Command through Facebook. So this also works for Instagram as well, since they're both really the same thing. So this is where you can connect that. It's the same way as the post scheduling, but just for paid ads. If you use Loop, you can connect that here. That way, when you start an opportunity, you can choose Loop to be the transaction e-sign management. Instagram post social, Instagram post scheduling. This is where you can schedule posts to Instagram, and it's only your Instagram business page. Same thing with Twitter. Your Twitter post scheduling, you can do that there. If you have an account with Color Cover, you can add that on here, as well as Office 365. And this is very similar to that Gmail integration we saw previously. If you use Outlook, it will display a summary of that message inside of Command. Twitter Ads Manager, this doesn't work anymore. This is likely going to be gone by the time you watch this video. Email services, this is Command Mail where you can choose a lot of different settings. So I'm actually going to hit Manage on this. That way we can go a little bit deeper into it. But anytime you send an email through Command, this is where you can set those options. So if I click on Manage, I've used 0 out of my 5,000 available free emails this month. Now you can do managed subscription and you can purchase more emails. I believe it's like $5, $6 if you want to send an additional 5,000, and then it kind of goes up from there. The email configuration. So this is important. So this is what that email is going to look like it's coming from. If I send out an email through Command, through a smart plan email or anything, it's going to say that the sender name is Andrew Hicks. Or if I wanted to put the Andrew Hicks real estate, blah, it would show up as coming from that name. Same thing with the reply to email. That's what it's going to look like it's coming from. And if somebody replies to it, you guessed it, that's exactly where it's going to go to. So you can choose your white pages email, all kinds of different things. You can even add a custom email as well. And once I make any changes, I would hit Save Changes, but I did not, so I'm just going to close out of that. Then we have MailChimp, and this is a little bit different. If you use MailChimp, you can select a mailing list that you created in Command, so you can bulk select a bunch of contacts, and then you can send them over to your MailChimp account. That way you can email directly out from there. Twilio is our automated text messaging service. So this is where you can subscribe for it. I do have to warn you before I go deep into it, because of the TCPA guidelines, they are very, very strict on text messaging. So if you're using Twilio to send out text messages through smart plans automatically, you'll want to make sure that that they've opted into text messaging communication. So they have to have explicitly signed something or checked a box saying that you are allowed to send them automated electronic communication. Otherwise, you can face some pretty hefty fines. So if you do subscribe in Marketplace, this is where you can subscribe to Twilio, and it's actually pretty cheap. So we'll go over this here real quick. You can see up to 300 credits is $3.16 per month. Now, one credit is a text message out or a text message in. If you use an image, it is a couple more credits, but it's very, very affordable as far as the amount goes. And if you don't use all 300 in the first month, it rolls over to the next one. Those credits do expire after a year, though. So if you don't do too much messaging, you can definitely get away with using the extra small plan because those credits do roll over and you'd be pretty good on there. Now, if I do go through and use Twilio, I can assign a call number. So if somebody does call my Twilio number, I can have it forwarded directly to my phone. Now, anytime you send out a text message using Twilio, it is going to have a message saying that this is an automated message from Twilio. Replay stop if you don't want to receive these messages anymore. So I wouldn't recommend using them for your A-list clients or your sphere. This is really best suited for running ads and responding to those people, texting them, trying to get them to engage. So I'm going to go back to my settings here. So those are the different apps that you can connect within Command. Now, over to the left, there's a couple more options here. If I go to General Settings, I can choose the default account. So if I'm on a team, I can set it up so that as soon as I log into Command, my team account is displayed or my personal one is. So I can set that there, whichever one I like to use the most, or if I'm on a team or want to switch out those different options. We also have notification preferences. So this is where you can change all the notifications that you get from Command. I recommend keeping most of these on. You can choose from here if you want to receive alerts as a mobile push on your from Command Mobile. If you're running close to your email limit, you can have it send a mobile push. It'll show you a notification here for the desktop in-app. That's this little notification bell. Mobile in-app would be if you're inside of your Command Mobile app, it'll have that notification there. Mobile push is where it will display on your screen if you are not currently looking at your phone, give you a little message and make a sound to let you know that it's there. And the next part are the command settings. So applications, this is exactly what we were looking at in the beginning. This is that first page that comes up here. We've gone over that already. Now we have more options for our contact settings here. You can see the contact archive. So if I've archived a contact and I want to permanently delete it or restore it, I can do that directly from here. If I want to wipe my database, I can archive all my contacts and then delete all the archived contacts. That's if I want to just wipe everything out, which I don't recommend doing. Contact tags, this is where I can edit and create new tags. So if I want to change this tag, or let's say I just want to remove it, I don't need it anymore, I can just hit this little trash can button and I can hit OK. And that removes that tag. Now, if there's a contact that currently has that tag on them, you'll have to remove the tag before you can delete it. Now, I can hit this edit button. I can edit the name of the tag. I can change the color of it there. So I can customize that any which way I'd like. Lead management is a really cool thing. So this is where I can set up different rules for leads coming in from different sources. So you can see here, I've got a homes.com inquiry. I can create a rule for any type of lead that I receive. So if I wanted to, for instance, set up a lead management for a Facebook lead. So any lead that comes in from Facebook, I can tell Command to do specific things to it, like add it to a smart plan, tag it a certain way. It's pretty great. So if I choose create rule, this is where I can put in the title. So we'll say Facebook ad lead. You can also choose for everything. So if you have a specific follow-up system you use for every single lead type, I can just hit select all, and that will that'll make it so any lead that comes in gets the same treatment. Now, as far as this goes, this can be triggered from either a contact coming in from that source automatically, or when you create a contact, if you choose the lead source as the one that we're going to specify here, it will also fire off. So for lead source, I'm just going to put in Facebook ad lead. I can tell it to tag it automatically, so I'm just going to have it tag it as a Facebook lead, which I believe I've got. There we go, Facebook ad lead. And I can create as many tags as I'd like to and auto tag them. I can also assign them to a smart plan as well. So if I wanted to add them to a specific smart plan like this Rad Internet Lead follow up, I could just click on that checkbox. So as soon as it comes in, it's going to fire off that smart plan as soon as that comes in. I create rule. And there we go. So now any lead coming in from now on will have that tag added and it will be put on that smart plan. Now, this is important. If you already have leads in there from those sources, this will not start. It will not fire off on it since it's just now happening. It's for any new leads coming in. Lead sources, this is where I can create lead sources and edit them and remove them if I'd like to. Like, let's say if I don't use Boomtown anymore, I can just hit that little trash can button, which this is a good example here. These are actually added in by the system, so I cannot edit or delete them. These were created by command, so I can't remove those. The Bigfoot Museum, unfortunately, was not created by command, which I think is an oversight. But since I created this one, I can edit this, I can remove it, I can do whatever I'd like to for it. Database cleanup is a really cool option that we have now. So I can check for duplicates automatically, and I can choose to merge those in if there's a duplicate contact. So looks like this one's a duplicate contact. I've got two different phone numbers for this person though. So if I wanted to merge these together, I could click on merge. And then I would choose the one that I want to keep as primary. So what that means is that the phone number and the email address are going to be the primary email address and phone number. So I want to make sure that I choose the correct email address and phone number, or the contact card with the correct one, the one that they typically use, to merge into. So I would just choose this one. Let's say this is the email address and the phone number that this person primarily uses. I continue, and that's merged and delete duplicate. So that will combine them into just one contact. We also have custom fields, which we went over previously. This is where I can edit any of my custom fields or create brand new ones. Now, next up is the opportunity settings. So client update. This is so that whenever you choose to make one of the checklist items a client update, meaning it will send an email out to that person once that step is completed. This is where I can manage all of those details. So you can see here, I have mine currently set to send out at 10:30 a.m. So what that means is, if I check off one of my checklist items for that opportunity at, let's say, 11 o'clock at night, it's not going to send them an email at 11 o'clock at night. That's just rude. So I have it set so that it will send it out at 10:30. Now let's say that I completed 8 different tasks for the opportunity that all had a client update. Yesterday from noon till 11 p.m. They're not going to get an email for each and every one of those. It's going to wait until 10:30 a.m. the following day to send out that email with a summary of everything that's been completed. And this is where you can choose where it's sent from, which is going to be sent from me. I can have it sent to this client and the co-client, or just the primary client only. So if I have 2 people involved in the transaction, I can have it sent to both of those people, or just the primary client, which is the first one that we select in the opportunity. I can also have it send a copy to me as well. That way I can have a look at what it looks like. And if you're curious about what that email template looks like, we can just click on preview right here. And that's going to give us a preview of what that's going to look like, the template of it. So it's going to have the client's name there, and it's going to say we're checking things off the list. Here's a summary of tasks completed for, and it's going to have the address that you have for the opportunity. It's also going to pull in the first picture from the MLS for that property. And this is where it's going to display those checklist items. So whenever you're creating your checklist for your opportunities, it's important to name that specific checklist task something that they're going to understand, because that's exactly how it's going to send out. So I wouldn't want to make a checklist task, stage the house for the worst client ever and have that as a client update and send it, because they're going to see that. Anything that's set as a client update task will send out with the exact text of that task. You can see it'll have your picture, your name, all of your information here, and your Market Center DBA logo. This is all obviously just test stuff, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Your information is going to be up here, as well as your Market Center logo as well. The opportunities tags, this is where we can edit and remove our tags that we've created for opportunities. Same thing as contact tags, just for opportunities though. Then we have the opportunity archive, where all of our archived opportunities live. We can restore them from here. We can never permanently delete them though. So they're always going to be in this archive. We can hit restore if we did this on accident. Now we have reporting, which is where we get activity tracking, which is a wonderful feature. So for activity tracker, this is where you can tell it to track your activities. It'll give you a message at the end of the day via email, to log your activities for the day. And we'll go over this a little bit more later on. But this is where it sends that daily reminder and when you should submit your activity by. And you can have it annoy the heck out of you by putting in a ton of reminders until you do it each day. But this is where you can choose your work days as well. So if you work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, let's be real here, it will give you the option to log your activities for those days. And with the activity tracking, it asks you how many people you called, how many new contacts you added to your database, if you went under contract on anything, if you closed anything, if you set any appointments. And that uses your numbers that you submit from your opportunities to go towards your goals. And it'll tell you exactly how much GCI you generated just from those activities each day. You can also add days off in there, so you can add in all your holidays before the whenever you start working on this. You can add all the holidays in the year, the days that you're not going to be working. That way it doesn't send you those reminders on those days. This is especially useful for teams, because if you have a team of people, you can require your agents to track their activities, and there's a leaderboard. It's pretty fun. Smart plans, we can see the time and date. So this is just the time zone for our smart plans, and it looks like mine's incorrect. So I'm going to choose Eastern. Where is Eastern? There we go. There we go. So this is, as you can see, this is important. Smart Plan uses time zone to apply time restrictions to text message steps. In compliance with the TCPA, Smart Plans will only send text within the window of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So definitely important to set this correctly. This may be something you may want to pause this video and check that right now, because that can be pretty bad. Then you've got your logs, which will show you any imports that you've done for contacts and the error log for it, and any exports from your database as well, where you can download any of the spreadsheets from contacts that you've exported. Now we have our connect settings as well, which this is super, super important. And I'm going to collapse this other field here to make it easier. So connect settings, the marketing profile, incredibly important. So this is where you can edit anything that's going to be displaying publicly from KW. So if somebody searches for you or your website or anything like that, it's going to pull in whatever headshot photo you put here and your team logo. If you don't have a team, you can create your own logo, your own branding, and add that in there. You can also just choose not to have one at all. Now, if I update my headshot here, it's going to instantly appear on my website, on my app, on the Market Center site, anywhere that KW says, hey, this person's an agent here. It's going to be pulling directly from this marketing profile area. So you'll always want to make sure that this is turned on. That way it pulls that information accurately. So where you can change your name, which first name, last name, your license number, the team, if you're on a team, your professional job title, so realtor, it's pretty much what everybody's going to be. Slogan, you can think of a quick, cool slogan to get people to use your services. I am not creative in that sense, so I did not have a slogan. Designations or credentials, so this is where you put any of the designations that you have. If you're affiliated with the military, this is where you can choose that as well, and that will display on your profile as well. We've got really everything: active duty, reserves, veteran, spouse, Gold Star family, military family member, National Guard, supporter, patriot, whatever you'd like to on there. And the bio, this is what fills in your bio on your site and all of the things that are public facing. I'm, again, not good at writing that stuff, so that's not in there. Your mobile phone number, the office phone number, and the fax machine if you still use one. Your email address, your website, and your market center information, which this information is typically filled in for you, so you shouldn't have to change anything here. Compliance, this is what's going to show up at the bottom of all of your websites, all of your apps. All of that stuff is going to show up in this legal footer. Legal footer just means it's at the very, very bottom of the page. You can also add links into there as well. So if you have other sites that you want to link to at the bottom of your page, you can add that in there. If you want any images down there, you can add those in there as well. This is where you can put in your social media information, so it will show up on your website, your app, if people want to connect with you through those different socials, and the Google Analytics ID, which this is not actually currently used, so you don't need to worry about it here. You would add your Google Analytics ID inside of the consumer area, which we'll go over in a different video. So the global settings, you can choose what language you're using. And that should be it. You may not have this option here, and we're not going to be going into that today, but that is a complete breakdown of all of the settings.